The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda. Supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie. We are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is a part 2. It's going to be a carry on from a conversation that we started last week. We're going to be sharing tips to transition to your own life after graduation, aka adulting. And our feel good vibe of the day is none other than joke time with Jackie. So if you want to get a laugh to get your morning started, make sure you stick around for that. Before all of that, though, let's get this episode started with our feel good warm up. Now, we have 2 things we want to kind of go through this morning for our feel good warm up. The first is today's Apple Day. Apple event day. If you didn't know, if you're not a techie, you're welcome. Today, Apple are going to be sharing all of the new gadgets that they have for us. And we want to know this really simple question. You can answer it. I really feel like it should be easy enough for everyone to kind of let us know what team they're on. Let us know in the comments what team you are on. And as you're letting us know that, Jackie and I will obviously let you know what team we're on, but we do want to give a shout out to the U9, look at me, the U20 Women's National Football Team for their win against USVI, the U.S. Virgin Islands. The ladies won 5-0 at their Ergilio Otto Stadium. I feel like it's a Spanish name, and I probably should be spelling it or pronouncing it like that, but I'm terrible at that, so we're just gonna let it go. Jackie, how do you feel? How do you feel about our U20? Why do I want to say U9? Our U20 women winning against the U.S. Virgin Islands?
I am very proud. I wish I was able to watch it. So,
right?
A few people were updating their WhatsApp status. So I was sitting there like, "Ooh, they updated. Is that another girl?" So it was exciting to, I guess, the anticipation and the suspense. Behind it was exciting. Like I said, I hope that some people were able to record so that when they come back, they can show some snippets, put something up on social media. I will be looking at Facebook to see if there's any updates on, like, say, TNN or Marsh's List or something like that, if they were able to get some recordings of the
I hope they have highlights.
Girls scored tongue twister.
Both of us were both in like different worlds today. Like, we know what we're talking about, but why we're saying other things, we don't know.
Trying to talk too fast, talking faster than I can actually filter the words, or thinking faster than I can speak the words. That's the one. But I'm excited for. I'm very proud of them. Bam, bam, bam. Go Bermuda.
Hey. Jackie and I create our own sound effects over here. So if you didn't know, that's how we roll, because it's first thing in the morning, and I think it's a little bit better for us to do that way. It helps us wake up. So you're welcome. Now, Jackie, Team iPhone or Team Android? What are you? Because I have to let us know what they are, and it looks like a majority are iPhone. Apple users. So Kanisha Dishios, she's a user. Carmen Mitchell Jones is also an iPhone user, as well as all things Apple. So she's a Mac user all the way through. And then Larry Marshall Jr. is iPhone. But it looks like we have one person that's for Team Android. Carlton Fleming is Team Android. So Jackie, iPhone or Android, what team are you on?
iPhone. I've always done, not always, I shouldn't say always. After I got rid of my Gateway laptop, Apple had the lightest.
Say her BlackBerry.
No, Apple had the lightest laptop, and remember I was traveling, so I was like, I need the lightest laptop that can do everything I needed to do, blah blah blah. And they still just like, they gave me a few options, and I tried to do an HP, but that was still too heavy.
Yeah.
And then I switched to Apple, and I was just like, oh my God, this MacBook is perfect. So I used to be able to travel with my tennis bag and my backpack. And then when I came back, iPhone was still very corporate. So I did the BlackBerry because that was more on the social side. But then I was trying to go to Android. But when my BlackBerry died, like I brought my phones to the end. I went without a phone for a while because I was like, I don't know what I want. And then I finally went and they got me to get into iPhone. I was like, oh, this actually works with my laptop. Everything works together. This is brilliant. And then we got and then I got the desktop, and I just kept going Apple, Apple, Apple. So yeah, I'm Apple. I tried Android, but it's too much happening.
So it's too complicated for you. So actually, speaking of BlackBerry, Sean Smith is team BlackBerry. We didn't include that because I honestly thought BlackBerries weren't a thing anymore because they are just not. So it's actually interesting that Sean, you use BlackBerry still. So like, how are you using your BlackBerry? Is it like the basics, like calling, email, some social media? Because I feel like
BlackBerry
at some point,
Messenger?
BBM, like, and who do you have on BBM? Like, people still use BBM? Question mark. Sean, you have to let us know. And speaking of, the ecosystem, Jack, that Apple definitely gets you in their ecosystem. Like they'll definitely, once you get one device, it's real easy to transition to other devices because they make it so simple for you to always be connected.
Everything's perfect. Like even my iPad, I can have my iPad synced up, and then if I get anything else, like plugs and outlets changed, so that the Apple, I can operate my entire house on Apple. I'm sure you could do that with Android, but because I already have the other products, why completely switch over when this works so well for me? Like you could get the Apple Watch, which does your heartbeat, your sleeping, it does your
the health stuff,
all the health stuff, and I'm working on getting one. So if anybody wants to sponsor me for an Apple Watch, my birthday is on the 27th, and
you have time. You have time to collect it. It's basically what she's saying. It hasn't passed, and even if it has passed, there's so you're welcome.
Pass the basket around. You know how you go to church and they pass the
collection plate. Jack is trying to get a collection plate again. So even if you want to do a group gift, clearly that's an option. You're welcome. For those of you out there looking to get Jacky a gift. Now it looks like Taja is also for Team Apple, and so I will concur. I am also an iPhone user. I like Jacky. I did kind of go through a situation where I was trying to decide between devices. I was definitely a BlackBerry user. First Motorola, had to let a little flip thing, that little razor. It was lit.
Sony Ericsson.
Bless your heart.
But I had so many different phones because I had a phone since I was 11 because my sisters were raised. So it was literally just me.
Okay, pause. You can't tell us any more of your phones because we're going to do a whole episode on the evolution of cell phones. So
okay.
I also had a BlackBerry, and then I actually did have an Android. So I did do Team Android for a while. And I think it was because it was similar to a BlackBerry from like just the operating system. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick to it. And iPhone, I was kind of just like, I don't really feel like paying all that money. And then, child, I made the decision. Well, in America, you can, do not down payments. You can do monthly payments to pay towards your phone, so you don't have to buy it out, which is great. So I did that, and I never looked back. I don't think I ever will go back. I can't. I just feel like you said, it's easier to use iPhones, and that was the intent of when they created like the Mac OS and the iOS. Like they created it so that anyone could use it. Like you could give an iPhone to a child right now, and they will be able to get to where they need to get to
easily.
And to some people, it's remarkable. And I'm like, well, it was literally created for every age group. So I think it's only a matter of time before they would be able to show us what to do on the iPhone, which is actually kind of sad when you think about it.
And I have the AirPods, the Apple Pods.
You are like in their ecosystem heavy. Like you can never get out.
I need to go buy some more. I need to go buy some sugars because this is ridiculous.
That part. So if you that was subconsciously like, oh, Jacky.
Perfect.
But yes, if you do have the option to buy Apple shares, whether you buy a full share or fractional shares, you absolutely should. Or any electronic company that you support, I definitely highly recommend that because it's like you can use that money, dividends, to pay for things that you want for yourself without really feeling like you're paying for it. It's just there's some free game on this Tuesday. There's not financial advice though, so don't be trying to go to your financial advisor saying Terry told you, because Terry didn't say. I just suggested. I want to get to this comment from Sean Smith. He says BlackBerry does more software than hardware. Third party makes BlackBerry phones, which is an Android style platform with BlackBerry secure software. Okay, and that's nice, because I remember when I first was transitioning or deciding over a BlackBerry or not getting a BlackBerry anymore because no one was using it, I went to Android because it was a similar system. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Jack, do you have a Mac laptop or an iMac?
iMac.
Okay. Would you get a new laptop? Like, do you think you would ever get a new laptop? So you have to watch the Apple event today, because it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 our time, or 2. They're 4 hours ahead. I'm 4 hours behind. So 2 o'clock this afternoon, your Atlantic time, the Apple event is kicking off. Jackie and I will be watching. We might be tweeting. You never know, because Jackie and I love Twitter. So we'll be over there. If you're just joining us, we did give a shout out to the U20 women's national football team. They won 5-0 against the U.S. Virgin Islands. So shout out to those women. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to watch it live, but we hope that we will be able to catch some highlights of those 5 girls, because I feel like that should be circulating on all news platforms today. So Jackie and I will be on the lookout for that. And if you do see it before Jackie and I, feel free to share it with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to have our feel good topic of the day. So if you're interested in finding out what that is, make sure you stick around.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Anna's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just us, we're getting ready to start our feel good topic of the day, which is tips to transitioning to adulting after graduation. Now, if you remember last week, Jackie and I started this discussion on life after high school. And one of the things we noticed was that it can be stressful to students who are preparing to either join the workforce or go off to college. So we went out to find some more tips for recent graduates that they can benefit from as they plan that next chapter of their journey. And we asked our Instagram audience to give us some tips. So we'll be bringing that into the show today. But for those of you that are just joining us, or you didn't get a chance to maybe participate on Instagram, you didn't get a chance to participate on the last episode we had on this, the first thing we want to talk about is, should our school system be focused on more real world preparation in addition to academic success? Because even when Jack and I were talking about it last time, we spoke about how we were so focused primarily on, getting good grades, making sure you got the classes when you do prepare for college. But are there other things that we should be focusing on in the school system that are more life skills connected or associated? So Jack, do you think that we kind of missed some real world preparation when we were in school?
Yes.
She's like, duh.
No, seriously, because we talked about it, was it last week? I can't remember if it was our live. I can't remember if it was on our IG live or on here, or probably both.
It was both. It was both. It was actually Friday.
But, yes, but we didn't get taught, savings, basic finance stuff. Obviously, I'm sure some of our parents were like, here's your little notebook. This is what you brought in. This is what you're spending out, so you can keep track of your spending. But nobody taught us about investments and, going to the bank, mortgages. They didn't take, some people can't even boil water. Like, I know we had food and nutrition, but they made it so.
It was always about the grade.
Not just that, but it was also so feminine. Like, I remember my teacher putting me with a guy and being like, oh, well, just let Jack do all the work. And I'm like,
what is he here for?
He needs to learn how to cook too. Like, what you mean? So I already knew how to do it because I was cooking and baking with my mom and my grandma. So I was basically talking him through, like, no, measure properly.
Yeah. Like your mom and granny would say to you, like, no, that's too much.
Yeah. So I was basically the assistant teacher, but I wish they, and even when you go to, the sewing class, the guys weren't really focused on it. They're just like, I'm not going to be sewing, but I wish that they put a little bit more emphasis on how important that is as well, because you can save so much money by making your clothes at home. I mean, I know I do. I don't make them there. I send
your mom
fabric.
Yes.
I send you fabric to my mom. I'm like, look what I got. She'll be like, oh, this is, what do you want? What am I making now?
I love it. I love it. So coming back to the our U20, I'm gonna really like pause every time I say U20 so that I say U20. Kanisha Desio says that Island Stats is her go-to for updates on all sports. So I definitely want to check them out to see if they have any of those highlights, because I think it is slightly a disservice to our U20, because we do tend to focus more on our men's senior team and like what they're doing, and we do get to see them play. But for the most part, women's football kind of gets missed in that conversation. So I'm hoping that, with more people looking to support and looking for those live streams, that the next time that they have a game, we'll be able to see it live. So shout out to Kanisha for giving us that resource, because I forgot about Island Stats, but they don't come top of mind for what reason.
The first that comes to my mind.
And you know what? I don't really think it just goes like that. So.
Him and Kenny Thompson. Yeah. Or even Colin Thompson. Colin Thompson's usually pretty good on social medias as well. So
okay.
Those are the first three things I go to.
Okay, so Jackie just gave us 3 sports resources. So if you missed it, don't worry. There's a replay. You can catch the replay and write those down, because I know I will. I need the assistance. So speaking about the school system being focused on real-world preparation, Shouting Eugene Fox II says sometimes the instructors may not be up to date with the real world themselves, which is unfortunate. I mean, that's kind of, like he said, unfortunate, because you are the instructor, you are the teacher, and you're also living in the real world. So it's like you should be passing some of that knowledge on to your students.
Yeah, but like, do you see what teachers are dealing with now?
That is true.
They're so busy trying to get the curriculum together, and the curriculum is already overflowed with what they're supposed to do, with what needs to be done. So they have so many months. So basically this term, midterm is October, basically around Halloween. So they had from the beginning of September to the end of October to get basically 17 weeks of worth of work and knowledge.
You're true.
Crammed in, and you want them to know what's going on in the real world. Work, they're grading.
Like this is exactly what's going on in the world for me, this right here. So I want to bring in the first tip that we got from our audience on Instagram. This one says to remember that prospective employers review your social media, and that's the IG handle of the person. So Jack, have you ever experienced, because when we first got into the workforce, social media wasn't as big as it is today, but do you remember like anyone maybe saying that they saw your social media during an interview, or just even in conversation as it relates to employment? Because you were employed for a period, and then you were like, you've done your own thing, I guess, for ever at this point. So like, have you felt it, because you haven't been in like, a traditional job setting?
I don't really complain about my work, like my job on social media. I try to keep social media light. So obviously I can, crack the jokes. Some are regular, some are corny, some are dirty. But other than that, I don't really complain about work, because especially in my line of work, my clients have social media. So if I'm complaining about my clients, like they're gonna be like, why you couldn't just complain to me?
Why you couldn't say it to my face, Jack? You say
it to my face.
Say it with your chest.
No, but I don't, because of my line of work, and of course when I used to work at Music World and stuff like that, if I had any issues with my boss, most of the time I would just be like, so today is not the best day for us, and we're going to work through it, but you're driving me crazy. So either you turn it down, or we just keep our distance today.
But that is a pro tip, like speaking directly to, your employer or anyone that you're having an issue with, versus taking it out on social media, because like this user says, they can see it. And even if you have a private account, like screenshot is a real thing, and it is possible for someone to screenshot you and,
And your colleagues aren't your friends. Like, they're your cellmates.
Sometimes. She said cellmates. At this point, I don't know what I'm going to do with her, people.
I'm just joking.
But she was serious.
No, but seriously, they're not your friends. Some can be your friends, but you gotta understand at the end of the day, they're your colleagues first, then they're your friends. So if you're talking bad about another colleague that they are actually friends with, they may bring it to their attention, or they may actually be a favorite of the boss and they have a good relationship or rapport with the boss.
Right.
So the last thing you want to do is talk smack about their friend. Obviously,
exactly.
they're gonna go back and be like, did you see this? You should probably talk to her. And they may have good intentions, but it could easily turn bad.
Right. So speaking of the workforce, we want to know from the audience, did you enter the workforce or go to college after graduating from high school? I was going to say high school, and why? So let us know in the comments, which track you chose. Did you do the workforce or did you go to college? Jacky and I spoke about it last week. She entered the workforce straight after high school, and then
I was already in the workforce.
Right, she was already in the workforce. She was like working. I wasn't working in high school. So technically she continued her tenure in the workforce, whereas I went to college and then worked. So I did a split situation. But one of the things that I did want to bring as the audience is letting us know whether they entered the workforce or did college. This comment from I think this is Larry's Instagram.
That's Larry.
Don't rush. And the concept around don't rush, like it's one of those things where like growing up, right? You're like, I'm going to be an adult. I can't wait to be an adult because when I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions and I ain't got to listen to this person. I ain't got to listen to that person. And then you become an adult and you're just like, oh my gosh, I really wish I was back in primary, middle, or high school. I just wish I was back there. And it's probably one of the most cliche pieces of advice to give someone, but it's so real that I just really wish I could shake children and be like, just slow down.
When you say that, that's one thing that the teachers need to do. They didn't emphasize, go to college, experience it. It's freedom. It's fun. Like they didn't say that. Just like go to college and get a better education. Just go. Like that's as far as it went. Not go to college because you get to meet some of the best people in your life. That's going to carry you through life. The party scene, the traveling, the camaraderie. They didn't stress or emphasize or even elaborate on the college
what
experience.
It is.
Yeah. And even your parents are just like, oh, you want to grow up too fast, stay young. No, why?
There's never the
why? Because it is so hard out here in these streets.
Adulting, I would like a refund. I have a conversation that I need to have with management because this was not in the description of adulting. Like this part of adulting was not in there. It was just like, don't do it.
I want to terminate my contract.
Immediately. I'm not giving any warning. I don't care. You can find me. You can fire me or you want to. I don't like it here. So let's get to some audience comments. Says Carmen Mitchell Jones worked while she was in college like me. So that's I have someone in that space. And then it looks like Sean Smith worked with you, Jack. Like he worked during high school and college. And so audience, as you're joining us, let us know what you did after high school, whether it was go to the workforce or don't go to college. And I think this one from Anika DeShields, Jack.
I definitely have lifelong friends from university. I didn't go to college, but I still keep in contact. I probably keep in contact with my friends that I used to travel with for tennis. More than I do with my high school friends and even some of the friends that I made from Bermuda College because they were all in tennis and they all went to college and now they're all tennis coaches. So I still be like, hey, what new drill you got for me? And we'll send stuff back and forth, like do videos of what we're working on with our juniors and we go back and forth. Like I have more in common with them and I think that probably works. I'm not sure how it works with college if you're probably doing the same degree. Struggles keep people together,
They do. The struggles, like who feels it knows it. That's a quote. I think I heard it or something like that. And like who feels what you're going through knows exactly what you're going through. So it's easier to relate and just have those conversations. So it looks like Taja Fox says that she was a part-time worker in school and a full-time university student. But shouts out to you because being a full-time student is a lot, even though you have like, your breaks and you have like your schedule isn't as structured as it was up until high school. It still can take a lot of work, especially if you got to get to class. If it's an 8 a.m. class, you got to get up early. And 8 a.m. in college is not the same as 8 a.m. up until high school. Like, it's a totally different time. Like, I don't care what anyone says, it's different. It's like, it's different. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's a different 8 a.m. I can tell you that. Like, I just felt like my 8 a.m. in college was like dreadful.
I remember high school having to wake up at 6 and struggling for life, but now I wake up at 6. I'm just like,
maybe that's a plus from adulting. Maybe that's a plus.
I feel like we got programmed into it that now we're like, up, but now I'm not up and rushing. Like, I used to be on the ferry trying to do my hair because waking up at 6 to leave at 7:30 just did, like, that's an hour and a half. And what was I doing?
Not much at all, because we didn't have no stresses like that. We had no stresses like that in high school or leading up to high school, and now.
You know what I was probably doing?
Why you
drying my clothes? Probably like
to get ready.
I forgot to put my clothes in the dryer. Throw it in the dryer. Do my hair.
So that's another tip, kids, children, everyone watching. Do not wait till the last minute to get yourself prepared for the next day. If you can, prepare the day before. Your parents will tell you that over and over again, and it's good advice. It's really good advice. Do not sleep on that advice. Don't be a Jacky.
Procrastinate. Do it now.
So speaking of Jack, you mentioned how, you have people that you play tennis with throughout high school, that y'all are now coaches. And so this tip from Ikea, the specialist: network, get to know everyone, let others know what you do and where you want to go. How important was that for you? Because like you said, like now y'all are all tennis coaches, and so you can easily, bounce ideas off of each other. Like, did you think about that at the time, or were you, like, when you were playing with these folks, were you just like, oh, these are great people to be competing against? Or like, did you kind of had this foresight to possibly think that at some point I might need these people?
To be honest, I thought we were all going to be on the circuit together. We're going pro, guys. Let's go. And then reality kicked in of how much it costs to try to go pro. It's very expensive. So then we were just like, all right, well, we'll go back home. And a lot of them went to college, and they were supposed to be in corporate, and they tried it for like a month, and they're like, we hate it. But a lot of them actually grew up in tennis the same way I did. So it was easy for them to become a tennis pro, a tennis coach. We have the experience, we have the knowledge. So it was easy for us to get our clientele up, and then to be able to, it was a case where we all end up at the same place as either representing our country or being the coach for the juniors that are representing them. We were just like, who knew this was going to be us? Like, we're now.
Who would have thunk it?
Because some of them, we did Junior Fed Cup, which is 12 and unders, 14 under championships. So we've known each other forever. Right. So we never actually thought that we'd be the coaches of the same. Right.
Full circle.
Right. So now we're able to send messages saying, are you taking kids to Panama for the 12 and unders? Yeah? Okay. So we're going to come, and I need somebody to warm my juniors up, practice matches. Cool. What days are you going? Oh, so you're going 2 days early? We'll go 2 days early, because most times we don't end up in the same pool.
Okay.
So it was nice for us to train against each other, and then we sculpt with each other. So I didn't see this happening, but it definitely worked out in all of our benefit.
Like, so networking is clearly the key.
Very important.
You don't necessarily have to know how it's going to work out when you're networking. It's really like Jacky said about building those relationships, because you never know when you're going to need someone, or when that someone can kind of be able to help you later on. Absolutely. And y'all are just be growing together. And I think that's one of the things too about this point is, like, when you get to know people, you get to, and let them know what it is that you're doing and what you want to do, you can kind of see whether they can help you, or whether they will, just be someone that, you kick it with, someone that you just socialize with. And sometimes we spend so much time just socializing that we don't really network with people. Like, we keep it so surface level, which in some instances is fine. It makes sense. But, do make an effort to find out what other people are doing.
And before the pandemic, a lot of the pros, like, so Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Thomas, Bahamas, Jamaica, because we're all constantly talking to each other, and even Trinidad, we were all supposed to take juniors to each other's, like our personal juniors to each other's islands.
Okay.
And play their local competitions just
You ain't
to.
coming here, no. Mm-mm.
And
Bermuda ain't doing it right. I mean, Bermuda ain't doing it right. Like, I mean, other places probably doing a little better than us, but
I know.
like,
You saw those numbers in that article? Ooh, I was
they're like, maybe we'll see you
crazy.
next year. We'll see you next year. So I want to come back to the conversation around the schedule, like classes and getting up early in the morning. So Anika DeShield says all of her classes were 8 a.m. done by 1 p.m. Monday through Thursday. No classes on Fridays. However, you got that schedule, bless your heart, because I could never get that schedule until my senior year at Spelman College. And I was just like, it was difficult to get a schedule like that. For me, in my degree, it was just like, it was not it. I couldn't do it. We have this comment from Larry Marshall Jr. Jack.
6 a.m. practice in college and 8 seems like noon. I made 8 seem like noon.
No, that's really real. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's a different 8 a.m. when you're an adult versus like a child, because like now I get up like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I promise you by 8, 9 o'clock on the weekend, I'm taking another nap. I'm taking a nap.
Oh,
like, I cannot continue to go about my day without having a nap right in that morning slot.
My friends know it's nap time. Because I'm out in the sun all day, so I'll go out, and whenever I got a chance, I shower and I nap. And yesterday I napped, and I was out for half an hour only because I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and somebody messaged me, and I'm just like, who is messaging me? It better be an emergency because you know this is my nap time.
So I want to ask one more question of the audience before we get ready for our feel-good vibe of the day, which is joke time with Jackie. If this is the first time you're watching us, that means Jackie is going to ask, she's going to tell me some jokes. I'm going to try to answer them, and we're all just going to have a good laugh because that's how we do over here on Good Day Bermuda. So question. How long after graduation did you start to feel like an adult or a grown-up? Because one of the things that I find very interesting is that we talk about this whole adulting thing, but I don't really know if many of us feel like a true adult. And so before we get to that, audience, let us know your answers. Is that Jackie and I will obviously have a discussion on it. But I want to go to this comment from Nachika Trot. She says, class schedules are usually based on faculty preferences. Listen, that is a jam. Thank you for that, because I really didn't know that. Like, I really just thought that the schedule was created in that way. Like, I honestly didn't even know how they created it, to be quite honest. Like, I really just thought they don't like us. They want us to have an 8 a.m. class. I really thought it was just like, they just don't love us. That's interesting.
That's a morning person. That's just like, I'm up at 6 for workout. I'm trying to get my 8 a.m. done so that I can go and be finished by 1 so I can go brunch with my girls.
I am here for it, though. I am here for it because the faculty, obviously, they are the educators. They are the ones sharing that information with us. So if their preference is to have it first thing in the morning or late in the afternoon, then shout outs to you. But listen, sometimes there's gaps. Like, I would have like an 8 a.m. class and then maybe have like a 9:25 class to be done by like 11. And then I will have another class till like 2 or 3. And I'm just like, y'all don't love me. Because like, you don't want to take a nap that turns into a sleep. And he missed class, but you know, sick. So Jack, how long after grad did you start to feel like an adult or grown up?
Or do you laugh, right?
Do you feel like
yeah, ever had something happen and been like, we need an adult? Oh crap. Like, I'm the adult. I have to be the person that makes these decisions.
And I'm not ready.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm just joking. No, some situations I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But most times I've had the leader role for a while, so yeah. I feel like an adult when these children are scared of me. Not scared of me, but they're like, Coach Jackie? And I'm like, yes. Coach Tara told me to come to you. Why? Because what did you do? And then I realized, oh, I'm an adult because they're terrified because they've done something wrong and they know.
They don't want to say it.
I'm like, all right, plank. And they'll just hit, but okay. I'm just like, that's
yes,
adulting. Like, but then I feel bad because I'm just like, I have to discipline these kids so they don't act up again. And I'm like, all right, run your laps. Do this. I'm just like, but
and you remember being that child?
Yes, I'm just like, oh my god, I feel sorry for this child. I hate holding planks.
As an adult.
I don't make them do burpees though, because I'm just like, that's too far.
It's like, that's where I draw the line. That's my line in the sand.
I don't like burpees. I'm not making you do burpees. We're not going to do this whole do as I say, not as I do thing. We're not doing burpees here.
We're not doing that. So Sean Smith says he felt like an adult when his mother told him he had to start paying rent. And listen, that is actually for some people one of those things where it's like, okay, you got to start contributing to the household, and this is how you're going to do it. And, you know, you grow up real quick when you realize that all this time you had it real easy. Life was real peaches and creams up until the time when you have to start paying bills. Because we talked about that during the first part when we were talking about like how bills was the one thing we would give back. Like, take the bills back. Like, I'll do all other things adulting, but the bills, you can keep the bills. And Anika DeShields agrees. She says, for sure, when you get a bill, that's when you're like, all right, I am no longer a child. I need to switch up the game.
I now remember when I became an adult. When
did you become an adult? When did you feel like it? Because you know there's a difference between becoming an adult and feeling like you're an adult.
I was 19 and I had to sign to be a part of the mortgage because we bought another house. And I was just like, because I didn't think about it. I was just like, Dad, look at this house. Mom would love it. Let's buy it for her. And he was just like, really? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then we did it. And then the first bill came and I was just like,
a mortgage payment came?
Right. This happens. This isn't Barbie and Ken. Like, I just can't.
You just can't pick it up and put it over there.
I was like, Dad, it's still coming. The bills are still coming.
And he was like, yes, daughter. Yes,
it's still coming out my account. Like, is this real? Yeah, this is how it happens, Jack. I'm like,
Yeah, I think for me it was like signing the employment contract and then having to like go to the pension section and like naming your beneficiary. Like that for me was definitely a switch where I was like, okay, like I'm a real adult. Like I have to make real decisions. Like, I mean, the person that's my beneficiary is my mom right now, but it's definitely like at some point that's going to change. And at some point, like I'm going to have to be naming other people. And I'm like, this is what adults do. Oh my gosh. Like the signing of the contract was like, okay, yeah, it's a job. Cool. It's the things after that, the life insurance, the pension, the medical insurance. I was like, wow, adulting is a thing. This is different. I don't like it here. Take it back.
No, it's seriously. Your account looks so pretty until you hit certain dates. Like, don't look at your account on those dates, guys. Don't look at it.
But make sure you know where your money's going. Make sure you know where your money's
going. Pop the bottle of wine, and then you can go through it. It's way easier. Wine is adulting. I
would definitely say that for women, that is definitely one of the things for me that I've noticed was definitely made me feel like an adult to growing up when I started drinking wine, real wine, not Moscato.
That is so sweet.
I felt like a real adult when I was 18 and level drinking some Moscato. I was like, oh yeah, I've arrived. I had not arrived.
I had my dad is a Malbec drinker, so I had Malbec, and then somebody was just like, oh, I got you a glass of wine. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, white. Okay, thanks. And then I drank it. I was just like,
diabetes check.
What is this? And they're just like, Moscato. I'm just like, take it back.
I don't want it. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our feel-good vibe of the day, which is joke time with Jackie. So Jackie's going to get her jokes ready. Y'all and I are going to get ready to have a gutbuster laugh. So make sure you do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us, we're about to get ready for our Feel Good Vibe of the day. But before we do that, make sure you give us a reaction if you're watching over there on Facebook. Those of you on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And to all of our tweets over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. Jack, before you get into the jokes, Anika DeShields agrees. She says, wine is how we deal with adulting. And that, if there's any key takeaway you get from today's episode, that is probably it. That is how we deal. Over to you, Jack. I'm ready for a laugh.
Okay. What did the fashion police officer say to his sweater?
To his woolly? I don't know. But I feel like it's corny.
You know why I pulled you over. It's so corny.
I knew it was it. Anika DeShields got it. I definitely did it.
Did you hear the story about the astronaut, the claustrophobic astronaut?
The claustrophobic astronaut. No, he called Houston though. I know he called Houston.
He needed some space.
Oh. He needed some space. I live.
Okay.
One more.
Last one. Okay. Where do Volkswagens go when they get old?
Where do Volkswagens go when they get old? I don't know, Jackie. Please tell me.
The old Volks.
The old Volkswagen. You know these jokes, you can't even get it out. But the
oh my God, I'm crying.
That was definitely the one. And as always, we hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the day has you ready to make it a good one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation. We will be having Sue Khan of Naked Zero Wellness. We're going to be talking about creating a minimalist lifestyle. So for those college students and even those of us adults who are trying to figure out how to get our space to be rather zen, you're going to want to make sure you tune into tomorrow's episode. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.